Poppy, Poppy. Poppy, Poppy, what do you say? Wear me on Remembrance Day. Poppy, Poppy, what do you tell? Many soldiers in battle fell. Poppy, Poppy, what should we know? That peace on earth should grow, grow, grow.
It wasn't in the lifetime of the young ones that memories may be fading in the old. When fresh within the warm and flames of conflict, they lost the loved one now no more to hold. The films we see still dramatize the heroes. Others make up stories of their deeds. But someone please now tell me the true story, lest we forget in future take no heed. Lest we forget the price they paid, lest we forget the war for us they made, lest we become so deaf and wasted to take the freedom earned as a right to us bestowed by some magic fate of history long forgone. It may be hard for us to understand it. It may be that we cannot feel the pain. But when we look upon a world in turmoil, we ask, could it ever be again? It wasn't in the lifetime of the young ones. The memory may be fading in the old. But to forget the lessons of our history is to endanger that for which they fought. Lest we forget the price they paid, lest we forget the war for us they made.
Hi everybody, I'm Martin Mackey. I'm the County Commissioner for Hampshire Scouts. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has once again impacted on the way we are doing scouting, and this year we're unable to meet face-to-face for our normal Remembrance services. So I'm really pleased that you've managed to join us today for our service and Remembrance online. As a serving naval officer and member of the Scouts Association, I think it's really important that we remember our past, and one of the best ways that we can do that is through telling stories. I'm going to tell you one today about a scout group in Basingstoke, or as it was then, but Basingstoke West now, called the Worting Scout Troop, and it was taken from their history from the First World War. 18 of the older scouts in Basingstoke district enlisted as soon as war was declared, and Major Roberts Thompson was among the many Basingstoke district scout leaders who were called up. The scouts made themselves available for war work. Indeed, of all the youth group members, the scouts were most sought after as their training developed confidence and initiative. They were used as runners, messengers and orderlies. They assisted the public authorities, the police, the hospitals and the fire brigade. However, it was for guarding the railway bridges and patrolling the railway line that the Basingstoke Scouts received their war badges. The ceremony in May 1915 was extensively reported in the Gazette, and a number of Worting Scouts were honoured. The story goes, a number of boys belonging to the Basingstoke and Worting troops, having qualified for war service badges granted by the BP Boy Scouts Central Association, and these were presented on Monday evening at the headquarters of the Basingstoke troop, made place by Mr. F.A. Wallace and Mrs. Bullock. Over 40 boys, most of them in Scout uniform, were present. Scoutmaster Charrett next read the Reverend N.R. Fitzpatrick's report on the war service performed by the Worting troop. It stated that 13 members of this troop qualified for the war service badge by guarding the bridge over the main road and the smaller bridge over the Cold Harbour Road from the end of August on their return from camp every night from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. until prevented by severe weather in November. The service was arranged and started by Scoutmaster Smith, but he was unable to carry it on through illness. The rector of Worting, therefore, superintended it in person from early in September until the close of service. The nights were divided into 4 watches, 10 till 12, 12 till 2, 2 till 4 and 4 till 6. Always 2 scouts on guard together and no scout on guard 2 nights running. The guarding these bridges was carried out in a most thorough manner. No traffic was allowed to pass unchallenged and no difficulty was experienced. The keen sight and hearing of the scouts was a great asset in their service, and they have thoroughly well earned the badges to be presented to them. The Worting Scouts who earned the badges were Patrol Leader Mills, Scouts Ambrose Garnett, Ted Lyons, Charlie Port, B. Rampton, Henry Smith, all of whom had performed war service for 3.5 months. Patrol Leader B. White, Scouts Jack Dale, Murray Penny, Dennis Port, Leonard Puckett, Ernest Salmon and Arthur Walford, these having served for a somewhat shorter period, also earned their badges. Ernest Salmon had also acted as a messenger to the West Ham Military Hospital since it would open on December the 31st. In May 1916, a parade was arranged at Fairfield School at short notice, at the request of Lord Baden-Powell, who was, to quote, motoring from Newbury to Winchester by way of Basingstoke. About 60 scouts were paraded at short notice. They made a large circle around the chief scout for inspection and then closed in to hear him speak. He was pleased by their appearance and their war badges. I am especially glad to see so many badges of public service. Fellows out in the country do not get much chance of earning that badge, but in towns where you can help the hospitals, the police or the fire brigade, it is a great thing to do, so I am glad to see that you have not been behind in getting these badges. I want you to go back and tell your fellow scouts who were not able to be here that I am glad to have seen you. What a great little story that is. And even though we're not at war today, I know that many scouts have served over the years valiantly and in many conflicts that this nation has been involved with since the beginning, particularly of the last century. And I know, sadly, that some of them have made the ultimate sacrifice, and therefore it's really, really important that we never forget that sacrifice they made for us. Thank you.
As a Jack Cornwall Award holder, I'm honoured to tell you the story about Jack Cornwall. Jack was a scout in St Mary's Mission Group, Manor Park, London, and entered the Royal Navy in 1915. It was wartime and training was brief, but Jack was helped by his days in scouting and quickly adapted. On May the 31st, 1916, while serving on HMS Chester, Jack was struck by a shell splinter and was grievously wounded, although he stayed at his post, awaiting orders until he was relieved at the end of the battle. On reaching port, Jack was transferred to hospital in Grimsby, and 3 days later, he died a national hero. The Scout Association awarded him the Bronze Cross, and he was also awarded the Victoria Cross. To commemorate the courageous courage Jack showed, the Scout Association created the Scout Cornwall Award Badge. He is also, though, commemorated in a large charcoal sketch held at the National Museum of the Royal Navy in Portsmouth in the Battle of Jutland exhibition, and it can still be seen today.
There have been 5 Royal Navy ships named HMS Hampshire. I'm going to talk about one in particular from the First World War. Launched in 1903, the HMS Hampshire was one of 6 Devonshire-class armoured cruisers designed to operate independently and defeat most other ships they encountered. She was constructed in Ellswick, Newcastle, and was initially assigned to the 1st Cruiser Squadron of the Channel Fleet, together with most of her sister ships. She was later refit at the Portsmouth Royal Dockyard in 1908. After being transferred to several other countries, HMS Hampshire returned home and took part in the Battle of Jutland in 1916. Immediately after this battle, she was commanded to carry Lord Kitchener, who was the Secretary of State for War at the time, from Scotland to Russia on a diplomatic mission. You may know Lord Kitchener from the famous propaganda poster, "Your Country Needs You." Partway through her journey, strong winds led her destroyer escort to fall behind, eventually being ordered to return home. Approximately 1.5 miles off the coast of Orkney, she struck a sea mine which had been laid by a German mine-laying submarine. She sunk, with only 12 of the 749 on board surviving, including the loss of Kitchener and all members of the diplomatic mission to Russia. The wreckage can still be found off the coast of Orkney. The 737 people who lost their lives aboard the HMS Hampshire are commemorated on the right-hand side of the base of the Hampshire, Isle of Wight and Winchester War Memorial outside Winchester Cathedral.
Lance Corporal Sidney Jollens fought in the First World War and was killed in 1915 in the fighting in Belgium, aged just 22. He served in the 2nd Battalion of the Lincolnshire Regiment. Prior to his death, he had been awarded the Distinguished Conduct Medal for extreme bravery and the Cross of St. George 4th Class from Russia. His body was never found, and he is commemorated on the Plugsturt Memorial. He was also my great-uncle.
When the dark days are around you, and you wonder why, when you're walking in the shadows, in the wake of a stormy sky, if you will hold on and wait for the morning, smile on through the rain, there will come your way such a golden day, and you'll find yourself again. When dark days are around you, and you wonder why, when you're walking in the shadows, in the wake of a stormy sky, if you just hold on and wait for the morning, smile on through the rain, there will come your way such a golden day, and you'll find yourself again.
After the storm, there is nothing but peace, but there's always a feeling the battle has not ceased. You can still hear men shouting as they fight on the grass. They fight for every man, right down to the very last. I hope that someday these men will be risen and the enemy's sins shall be forgiven. Because after the storm, there will never be peace. As everyone knows, the battle will never cease. You can hear a girl asking, crying, "Where's Daddy, Mummy?" And the mother replying, "He's coming home soon, don't you worry, honey." But the bitter truth is, as there is none that is sweet, their loved one shan't come home, he fought till defeat. But he died for our country, and that's all that matters. Sadly, those who survived have gone madder than hatters, as no one can forget the hardships of war. It's not something you can be rid of with the close of a door. So listen when I say that there will never be peace, because after the storm, the rain will release.
Muslims played a huge part in both the First and Second World Wars. It is a little-known fact that 400,000 Muslim soldiers fought and died alongside British troops in World War I, fearlessly strengthening the British position against the Germans in trenches on the Western Front. These brave soldiers, despite arriving in a new climate with tropical uniforms and little knowledge of the mechanised warfare used in World War I, laid down their lives at crucial battles such as the Somme, Ypres, Neuve-Chapelle and Gallipoli. Also, during the Second World War, a third of the 2.5 million men and women from the Indian Army who fought for Britain were Muslim. Countless stories of the strength and heroism of Muslim soldiers have emerged from both wars, such as that of Khudadad Khan, the first Muslim to receive the Victoria Cross for defending his position when all in his company were killed, and Sepoy Ali Haidar, who was also awarded the Victoria Cross for his conspicuous gallantry, initiative and determination in the face of heavy odds. It is stories such as these that remind us why we should wear our poppies with pride this Remembrance Day, not just to commemorate the bravery and sacrifice of these individuals, but also to celebrate the huge contribution that Muslim soldiers made in shaping the Britain we know today.
Know the rainbow may be out of sight, gone may be the day. Just remember through the lonely night, while I am far away. Look for the sunrise up in the sky. No more the longing and no more goodbye. Look for the sunrise greeting the day, when all our troubles will vanish away. For shadows may be falling upon the land and sea, but still my heart is calling on wherever you may be. Look for the sunrise after the rain. We'll be together and smiling again.
Armistice Day will be slightly different this year, and Hampshire County Council will be commemorating all those who have fallen during conflict through a special remembrance video for 2020. The film brings together reflections from the authorities chairperson, alongside poems and readings from Her Majesty's Lord Lieutenant of Hampshire, Nigel Atkinson, and reservists working at the County Council. The bugle solo will be performed by Hampshire Music Service. Join the County Council on Wednesday the 11th of November at 11:10 to help pay our respects to those who have fallen. The video, along with more information, will be available to view on their website and their social media channels.
Thank you so much for watching Hampshire Scouts Remembers, the first online virtual remembrance service the county has held. So important during these times. My name's Sam and I'm the lead volunteer for media and communication here at Hampshire Scouts. COVID-19 and national lockdown means donating online is now crucial to support the Royal British Legion's 2020 Poppy Appeal. With thousands of poppy collectors unable to sell poppies locally and many fundraising events cancelled, they are relying on the British public to give as generously as possible this year. This can be achieved by downloading a virtual poppy, colouring it in and giving generously where you can. Thank you.